Number one, it's Peter Hendy is next. I doubt whether there'd be too many other people in the country, non-elected people in the country, who have run longer campaigns than Peter Hendy. I don't know when he first started campaigning, but it seems like forever ago. Peter and his wife Bronwyn are proud to call Queanbeyan home. They've lived here for 12 years. He's a professional economist, started his career as a cadet with the Federal Treasury. He was for 6 years the Chief Executive of the Australian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, during which time he was awarded a Centenary Medal by the Governor-General for his services to the business community. He's representing the Liberal Party in this campaign. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Peter Hendy.
Thank you very much, Ross, and to Ricky and to the Mayor and the Council of Queanbeyan City Council for hosting what is a grassroots example of democracy, and I think it's great. In fact, before we get to the end of this election campaign, certainly Mike, myself and Catherine will have participated in 8 debates, and maybe Ruddy and Tony Abbott might not get to 8, but we'll have 8, and so I think that's a real demonstration of democracy in action in Eden Monaro, and I'm very happy to be participating in it. As Ross quickly read out, I've lived, well, not 12 years, but 13 years in Queanbeyan, very happily with my wife and kids. I first came to the region 30 years ago, working as an economist. I've been, as Ross said, I'm best known for the fact that I was the CEO and Managing Director of the Australian Chamber of Commerce and Industry for many years. I've run my own small business. I've worked in the public service in Canberra and in New South Wales, up in Sydney, and I've worked overseas in the Middle East in Bahrain, working for the government in that country. So I've got a very diverse background, but one of the things that draws me into running for politics is my passion about assisting this region to get the best jobs outcome that it can get, the most sustainable jobs outcome it can get. And that can only happen with a strong and robust small business sector in Eden Monaro. What many of you will know is that small businesses is basically the engine room of employment in Australia. It employs across Australia something just less than 50% of all employees. But in regional areas, small business accounts for more than 60%, and that's the case in Eden Monaro. So if small business isn't firing in our region, then job security isn't as apparent as it could be. And when I go up and down the far south coast, Irrabadella Shire, Bega Valley Shire, I go up and down the Monaro, or Palorang area, or here in Queanbeyan, what you're seeing in the last couple of years is a worrying increase in the number of businesses that are closing. So, for example, in the Irrabadella Shire, there's been recent statistical work done which shows that for the Shire as a whole, in the last couple of years, according to the latest statistics, there's been a net decrease in the number of businesses, something like 60, but for the Shire of Irrabadella, that's a large number. And the extent to which any of you travel down there, you'll have seen that. But there's also issues here in Queensland with regard to closures of businesses. And businesses are being hit by the electricity charge increases that are directly related to the carbon tax. We are the only major party that is offering a solution to your increasingly high energy bills by abolishing the carbon tax and the ETS. So that's one thing we'll do for small business. We'll also cut the corporate tax rate for those small businesses that are incorporated. Not all small businesses are incorporated, but most incorporated businesses are actually small businesses. And so there will be a direct cut where they're incorporated. Here in Queanbeyan, each incorporated small business will get a tax cut. And where they're not incorporated, there will be flow-on effects from the better, the improved business community because of that corporate tax cut. We've got we're not getting very far. We'll have lots of opportunity to talk because we're going to be here for 2 hours. Look, I just want to say one thing, which is with regard to the priority setting of the Queanbeyan City Council, with the number one being the Ellerton Drive extension. I note today that Mike made a commitment to funding for the Duns Creek Road. I don't know where Mike's got his planning expertise from, but if the transport planners of the Queanbeyan City Council, together with the New South Wales government, come up with a plan that prioritises a certain road rollout plan, I think that's the rollout plan that we should be following. So I support the extension of Ellerton Drive. Duns Creek Road is a promise that Mike made today, but he made the same promise last election in 2010. He made a promise that he would secure $15 million for Duns Creek Road. 3 years later, we haven't got it, and it's another question. It's another promise just a couple of weeks before an election.